Hello. Well, I was going to make one big video about this topic. This hashtag Isaiah 520. That's not going to happen. I made a big video and then I read the New York Times and now I'm fired up. So here's the point. Sometimes a lie is more than just a lie. Now I've already told you that I think it's very important for people to look at their soul when they start thinking about stuff. Because when you give up your soul to a cause, you lose your soul and you lose the goal you were hoping to achieve. That's a fact. It happened way too much. Don't sell your soul to other people. Your soul is your most valuable possession. That means we have to pay attention. We can't just pick up what they're putting down. We have to think about it because there really is a lot of ugly stuff going on. So I'll start with the easy part of this, the easy premise. How many people like to say Donald Trump's crazy, you can't vote for him, it's a horrible idea to have him as president? And here's an example of why. Because he told people to drink bleach, or he told people to drink Lysol, or maybe inject bleach, or inject Lysol. Now, nobody's accused him of telling people to snort bleach or snort Lysol yet, but we're waiting for that one. Now, if they have to tell a lie to make their point, that means their point is invalid. Therefore, Donald Trump's not crazy. If they wanted to make a point with the truth that Donald Trump were crazy, well, now maybe we need to think about it a little more. But as soon as they give you a lie, and anybody says Donald Trump told us to drink bleach, is lying, and therefore is violating this principle that should never be violated. And I think they're reading the stuff that you're not supposed to do and doing it because they think they can win that way. Because this is what they're doing. It comes from the book of this wisdom that tells you what is going on. It comes from Isaiah 5:20, chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. You see, what we're talking about here isn't just saying a lie. It's talking about trying to make fiction a fact. That's worse than lying. And you can't trust those kind of people because they're evil. It is evil to call good evil, and it is evil to call evil good. You have to deal with truth. Because I mentioned this whole New York Times thing, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to give you one more example first. Donald Trump's crazy, these people say. Not just Biden and Harris, but Joe. Nancy does it, Chucky does it, so many TV pundits and newscasters do it in different ways. They all do their little part in calling good evil. Well, maybe the president really is evil, you ask. Well, I can prove that he isn't. Pretty simple. If the president was really evil, they would give us truthful examples that he's evil. When they have to lie to say he's evil, there's no debate, there's no question. If they can't find a truthful reason to say he's crazy, then he's not crazy. They do other things too. We're going to talk about all these things. So here's the rule right now, quick. If you hear somebody said that Donald Trump said either drink or inject, either bleach or Lysol, they're lying. He didn't say it. It didn't happen. We'll talk about it more in detail if you want, but that's easy. That's just too easy to find on your own. And you really should find this stuff out on your own. You shouldn't take other people's words for it because it's your soul that's on the line. If you believe this, if you share it, if you spread it, if you hang an evil person's yard sign in your yard after he does this kind of crap, you're just as guilty as he is. I don't get too angry when I see the signs. I just drive by and I see the sign and say, wow, there's another person that, woe to them, you know. Okay. Donald Trump never praised a white supremacist. He doesn't cozy up to dictators. And he did not insult soldiers who died, soldiers who were wounded, and soldiers who were captured. We will talk about the McCain thing separate. That's a whole different thing going on. But this thing that they say he said is a lie. And if they got to use those to say he's crazy, then he's not crazy. Okay, good. Made the point, right? Now the New York Times. The neat thing about the New York Times is you're going to see this behavior, calling good evil, at the source. Because it just happened today, on a Sunday, 2 days before the debates. It's the 28th. First two things. The narrative they've already put out is that Trump only paid $750 in taxes. I actually replied on a tweet already correcting somebody about that. If $750, but the article starts out saying that he's been fighting the IRS for a $72.9 million tax refund that he got like 10 years ago. So if the president got a $72.9 million refund, think about this. That means he paid more than that in taxes, and he paid more than he owed, so they gave him back the money that he paid extra. That's what a refund is. Not a credit, nothing. It's a refund is what they're reporting. So if he overpaid his taxes, is what happens. You send your quarterly checks. Send every 3 months you send a check to the feds estimating what your taxes should be at the end of the year so that you don't have to pay a penalty when they give you a huge bill. You want to pay your quarterly taxes and be short a little bit of money, not so much that it's going to cause penalties. So, if he overpaid by $72.9 million one year, how much were the original payments? Well, he probably doesn't know how to read the tax form. He's not getting the forms. He said, and this is the other big part, the New York Times article is based on info reported to the IRS. I would bet that the info was delivered electronically to the IRS, and that tells me that only the IRS could have given the info to them. Possible it came from the CPA, but I doubt it. So, if he overpaid $72 million, it sounds like he's actually paying more than $75 a year. You with me? And if the info, what they're looking at, because they say in the article they don't have the tax returns, they have what was reported to the IRS. So that tells me the next part. And that's what makes this such a big, deep, ugly thing. First way they tried to get rid of the president was with the FBI and other Justice Department assets and the FISA court, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA. It is the law that kind of breaks constitutional protections against us in order to help protect us from terrorists. It's a law that, without good, honest stewardship, is real easy to abuse. And that's what they did. They lied on a FISA warrant application, gave the thing to a judge, and the judge authorized wiretaps on people in the president's inner circle. And you have to remember that when they wiretapped Martin Luther King Jr., he actually was wiretapped. We don't have any evidence that says Trump was wiretapped. But in addition to wiretapping Martin Luther King Jr., they also put a wiretap on the entire Southern Christian Leadership Conference. That was done by a Democrat who went from senator to attorney general. He was the one that requested it. Actually, he was a person my mother just loved as a politician. I'm not going to remember him for that. So, the FISA application because they used this thing that was supposed to protect us from terrorism as a way of masterminding a bureaucratic coup against a sitting president, it makes you wonder what's better. Are we better off getting more terrorist attacks and keep the country safe from this kind of activity? In other words, the activity that they did by abusing the FISA court is likely worse than terrorist attacks. Makes you want to wonder if maybe we should get rid of the whole FISA thing. People might die, but I'll tell you, it could get ugly if that happens again when they get caught. They went from the whistleblower laws. Whistleblower law was designed so that if somebody saw something horrendous, they could report it without fear of reprisals. They used the whistleblower law as a way of protecting the sleeper cell, the deep state sleeper cell that was able to gain access into a meeting between Trump and the Ukrainians. Turned out the guy that was the sleeper cell, the deep state sleeper cell, was an Army. Was he a major? I don't know. Him and his brother, I believe, were both working inside of White House type stuff. One brother told the other brother told the people that needed to know, the ones that called up the sleeper cell. And now we're using, what's better? Using a whistleblower protection law to help people do the right thing? Or is it better to not have that law so we don't end up protecting whistleblowers that never should be in there? They're supposed to be serving the president and serving the country, not the party. And they're using it to call good evil and evil good. And now the IRS. Does that mean we should get rid of the IRS because they're being used for the same purposes? That may not be so bad. Okay, next thing. With all this information that I've told you about, Joe Biden knew about it, Nancy Pelosi knew about it, Chuck Schumer knew about it. Obama could have told him about could have told the president, by the way, this whole Steele dossier is a big hoax. If anybody tries to bully you with it, just have your people look at the FISA warrant. In fact, I got a copy of it here. I'm going to leave with you just in case. Boy, wouldn't that have been great if Obama could have protected us from that? I mean, he knew about it. He was part of it. Everybody knows except the people that are reporting this to you. The people that are yelling about the president and Russian collusion already know the answer. That's how evil this is. If I know about it, they must have known about it way sooner. Everybody that voted for that special counsel, did any of them ask to see the basis for the wiretap to begin with? Might have led them to the FISA warrant. Maybe if somebody would have read it, they'd have figured it out. There's a lot of evil. We got to be sharp or we're going to get fooled. If we get fooled, this is the kind of ilk we're going to be electing in November. Thank you.